Hey guys, Trigger John coming at you with another Awaken Chaos Era video. Guys, so today's video is going to be all about what not to do in Awaken Chaos Era. Alrighty, so the first thing we're going to talk about that you should definitely pay attention to and focus on in the game, in my personal opinion, is going to be following your different freebies, so to speak. Now, when I say freebies, I mean look at your events. You unlock your events around, I want to say it's chapter 3, chapter 4, somewhere around there once starting an account. You definitely want to take a look at your events because you have a lot of these different events, like you have energy cost, gear collection, so on and so forth. They're going to be progressing and happening, and these events are ongoing. So you want to make sure you really save your resources to do these because you get the free rewards. Like if we go into the energy cost rewards, I got some charms, we got gold, we got meal coupons, we got event points, stardust, double EXP cards, a foodie, which we'll talk about in a minute, diamonds, special gear charm, and then the very last thing we got was 3 free summons. Now, in this game, when you go to summons here, there's really only two types of summons that really make much of a difference, and that's going to be your advanced summons, which are going to be your yellow shards here, or your limited summons, which are going to be literally, like it says limited because it is ever rotating. So as you see here, the time has 7 days left, and then this will rotate out, and a new set of characters will be in its place. These are super powerful, so you definitely want to pay attention to what you're doing with these. Now, like I said, foodies was one of the rewards. Speaking of foodie, we have the foodie guide. Now, a lot of people will make the few mistakes here and there where they'll go through and they'll say, hey, I'll kind of do these as I go. I'll complete them while I'm playing, right? Well, I'm gonna kind of tell you right now, like that's not a very good strategy to use because, for example, when you're first starting out, and I can say this because I just started my free-to-play series. If you didn't see the video, definitely check it out from yesterday. I'll probably do another upload within the next day or two talking about, what I noticed here and there and stuff like that. So there'll be some things that are kind of overlap with each other. But for example, objective number 14, clear chapter 1-1 on hard. Well, yes, you eventually make it to hard mode once you complete all 10 of normal, and then you'll easily do this one, right? But by that time, you should have already inlaid a glyph. You've probably already done a little bit of the arcane dominator. You've probably played around with enhancing some gear, so on and so forth. And you've really missed out on a lot of these potential resources that you would get back. So for example, like I pay attention, I've noticed that, hey, this foodie guide is allowing me to go ahead and clear this chapter 1-1 on hard fairly quickly and fairly easily. Now, once I was able to do that, that made a big difference in the amount of resources I got back because I got more energy. And then, of course, I had an inlay, and then that gave me tier 1 glyphs, which more tier 1 glyphs means you can upgrade your character faster. The faster you get your glyphs up, the better that's like your gear, right? So definitely want to pay attention. Make sure you guys are not making the mistake of neglecting these events by doing these foodie guides, by going over here, doing all these hero development chests, doing these master of the elements, doing the conqueror dungeon. Sorry. Pay attention to them. I'm not saying you have to do them. I'm saying that a beginner mistake or a rookie mistake would be not paying attention to what you could potentially get for free just by playing the game and doing certain things in a certain order. Second mistake I find is a lot of people go in here into the dungeon once they unlock this and they see this dungeon arcane dominator down here and they say, oh, this gear is what I want to get. They say, okay, well, we've heard a lot about Queen of Tides. Like, okay, yeah, I know I want to get curse set. So let's go ahead and let's go farm this at stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Please don't do that. So one thing I want you to notice is that when you're looking at these rewards, right? See how this says 1 star to 2 star, 1 to 3 star. Stage 5, it's 2 to 4. Stage 6, 3 to 4. 7, 3 to 4. 8, 3 to 5. Now, once you start getting into 5s, then you can start thinking about this. But I want you to pay attention to this. So what happens if you were to use a lot of energy farming 3 and 4 star gear? Well, you're going to be wasting a lot of your resources because when you go into adventure mode here, and let's say we pop out of here and we make sure we are on mythic right now and we say we're going to go to like chapter 4 for examples. This isn't an absolute thing to pay attention to, but what I'm going to do for the comparison is show you that your most likely loot here is going to be a 5-star piece of gear. possible loot is a 5-star elite gear. So at that point, you're going to be doing something for free, or well, not for free, but at a very low cost with very like minimal really effort put into the game to get this reward. Whereas when you're doing those dungeons, you're going to waste a lot of your energy. That's this up here, this bread, so to speak, this bread looking thing. You're going to lose a lot of that trying to farm your dungeons at a low tier and not really get the rewards that you're really looking for. Because in my personal opinion, if you're not getting, if you don't have the option to at least get a 5-star piece of gear or a 5-star legendary piece of gear, you've wasted way too many resources and you're going to probably regret it later on. Because what's going to happen is you're going to end up with a lot of those pieces of gear. You're going to waste a lot of charms, a lot of so on and so forth, and you're going to be like, oh man, I'm not going to, like, I'm stuck, I can't progress, and you're going to get angry, right? One other thing I want to show you as a common mistake that a lot of people do is they upgrade their gear too high. So notice that I'm fairly in game at this point now. But yes, I'm not breaking records on Guild Boss. I'm not number one in arena. And honestly, I could probably push the arena and do just fine in my particular realm. But in my opinion, like, that's not what I want to do. I'm trying to figure out comps to make things go fast and have fun. And one thing that allows me to do this is I don't take my gear up to 15. We have a lot of 6-star gear here on Zitlin. Not a one of those is 15, and actually a lot of that has to go up. As I keep progressing through this, you'll see like my main healer, Blackhorn here. Most of his gear is level 12, and he's actually rocking a lot of 5-star gear, some 6-star gear. Brand, for example, awesome character, amazing character. You can get him in the Magic Pass right now. Notice the trend here though, guys. Unless the gear piece is just absolutely amazing, I am not taking it to level 15. Like this pair of boots is probably the best piece of gear I've gotten so far that I don't regret taking to 15, and that's because if you look at this is an amazing HP set with 3 crit rate and 2 crit damage rolls on it. Like, you're not going to get much better. That in this case is well worth it. But a lot of people I see are rolling a lot of like not so good gear. Like this ring, for example, I should not have rolled this to 15. Look at the stats here, guys. We have 2 flat stats essentially with attack and agility. Agility, a rock doesn't need, so we're gonna call that kind of useless or wasteful. Attack is gonna be a flat stat. We invested in the wrong stats and we took it way too high. Should have stopped at 2 rolls of HP and called this piece good. Unfortunately, we didn't, and we wasted a lot of resources. That's another rookie mistake, is that you go through a lot of your resources. I'm going to show you real quick what you kind of use to upgrade your game to upgrade your equipment and so on and so forth. So if I go into where is it? My bag, thank you. Backpack. You will see under your materials what kind of charms you have. These will be your special ring charms. Now, these charms are what you use to upgrade your pieces of gear. You can also upgrade gear into other said gear, and simply just by clicking on it, and then when you want to upgrade into it. I highly recommend, before you start grabbing charms, before you start grabbing all of your charms down here, and you just go all willy-nilly and level everything up, go through your gear, kind of pay attention to what kind of gear you have. Make sure, see if you have flat stats that shouldn't be in there. Like, so for example, I did a lot of farming today because I'm just now able to sit down and play the game. It's like 6 o'clock p.m. right now in my time. I should have been playing for hours upon hours already today, but we were really busy. We had things going on. It actually snowed, so on and so forth. But yeah, so if you go through here, look at all these stats I have. Notice that most of these are all percent stats. Now, I farmed all day today independently, meaning I wasn't watching it, so I didn't check my gear as I went. But if I were to see, for example, on some of these rings or some of these amulets, a flat stat here, I really should be getting rid of that piece of gear, like even in cursed boots, because these are percent-based stats that you can get on these pieces of equipment. But flat stats don't scale nearly as high as your percent-based will on most of your characters. Now, there are a couple exceptions out there, but we'll kind of get into that later. But yeah, unless you're seeing a top-tier piece of gear, unless you're seeing like a chest, a helm, or a weapon, you do not want any flat stats, keeping any flat stat gear, period. So you definitely want to use that first to upgrade your pieces of gear. That's definitely a rookie mistake I see a lot of people doing out there. And then I hear a lot of people complaining, like, I don't have enough charms. Well, did you use your gear first? Or did you waste all of your charms, and then you're sitting here like, well, now I don't have enough gear to upgrade such and such, and I got to feed other pieces of gear into so-and-so. So definitely pay attention to that. You want to make sure you definitely max efficiency all those charms. And then with that being said, is don't forget to do your endless trial. Endless trials are the best places to get charms. You also get really good pieces of gear through here as well. well. It's fairly simple. As you can see here, I don't even mess with this on level 70. I can beat it. I know I have the characters. I know I have the gear. It just takes forever. It takes me way too long until I get better gear, and I can make this go from, you know, what is it, like almost 2 hours, I think, to complete it, down to like 40 minutes. I'm not going to bother with it, just plain and simple. But I will run level 60. We did it on stream, actually. What was it? Yes, Saturday. I think we did it on stream. It took me about 35 minutes to run through all of Endless Trial. Go and just click here and go. And I got a lot of charms. I was able to upgrade a lot of pieces of gear, which is nice. We're going to be working on building the Afiliate very soon, so I really needed those. But another thing that people make mistakes of is they don't pay attention to the no man's land on what's active each day, because these are not always open. You will notice that this is Sunday, so as you can see here, everything is currently open. Now, with that being said, a lot of people will go, oh, I got so-and-so, or I want to upgrade so-and-so's ability. Let's go grab a character that has some abilities that need upgraded. So Zachary, for example, say you really want to upgrade his abilities. Well, they won't have the elemental materials, and then they'll take the character into a fight and they'll be like, well, he didn't work. We're going to go ahead and scrap him. He's no good. No, actually, he may work out very well for you. What you need to pay attention to and what you really need to notice is that you need to really upgrade these abilities to make your character do what they need to do. That's kind of how they're intended. Like, notice that, for example, Zachary's ultimate here, you can reduce the cooldown by 1 just by upgrading it, you know, the 4 times here. So then that becomes a 4-turn cooldown. Then that is when he is at his core, the correct character. If he doesn't work that well for you after that, then okay, that makes sense. And, you know, maybe ditch that character, move on to the next one, so on and so forth. Another thing is just make sure you synergize the characters correctly. But one other thing I want to point out is, like, I get asked a lot of questions on, you know, is it a mistake to invest in legendary heroes? That's kind of the point of this video too, is I want you guys to know what the mistakes are and what they aren't. In this case, upgrading Mathasia or like any other legendary character is not a mistake. Yes, it takes longer, but you can synthesize. So you're not going to be able to farm these yellow crystals at the very beginning. It's going to take you a lot of time to get up to those higher level no man's lands to do these, but you can always synthesize them. If you click on them, hit synthesize, click 1. Notice it took 8 of my epics and then it turned it into 1 wood. You can easily do this. It takes a little bit longer, but yes, it is totally worth it to invest in your legendaries. One mistake I've heard a lot of people talk about is they'll look at the roster and they'll say, well, I can't invest in my legendaries. I can't do all this. It's going to be too much work. It's going to take too much energy, which is fine and dandy. But what you can do is you can actually invest into them. But it just takes a little bit longer because you just need to synthesize up the extra ability upgrades that you need. I do highly recommend, though, you do prioritize a few epics because yes, epics are a little bit cheaper. They will help you in the long term. If you look at my tier list, one of the strongest characters in the game, in my personal opinion, is really going to be like William and Winstrix. Notice I rate Winstrix as an 11 on the tier list, and I use her at a level 50 because she is that potent because of her skills and abilities. That's another thing. One thing that people make a mistake of is they will upgrade characters to 60 that they don't need to upgrade to 60. Winstrix is a prime example of a character you do not need to upgrade to 60 because what you're looking for Winstrix is you're looking to use her abilities here, which is going to be a speed up, reset an ally's ultimate, speed down on our A1, and then her trait ability, which is there's a chance to reduce its basic cooldown time by 1 turn. This ability may only be triggered twice per battle. And then once you get her leveled up here, there's a 100% chance to reduce its basic cooldown time by 1 turns. Now, literally, guys, this is why she's so powerful. It's because she's going to be popping off and doing a lot of speed ups, attack ups. You don't need her to do damage. You're looking for her as support, and her base stats are pretty good. Notice that her health got ranked as an A. Her defense got ranked as a C, which is kind of rough, but her speed is an A. She's a speed character. You don't need to worry about taking her to 60. You can keep her at 50, and you can accomplish a lot of what you need to do. That's the biggest mistake I see is that a lot of people are like, whoa, I heard Valuk is really, really good, or I heard Elson is really good. I'm going to take him to 60. That doesn't mean you need to take them to 60, guys. Just because you've heard they can be very powerful and they can help you in certain areas does not mean they need to go to 60. So definitely weigh your pros and cons and look at it. See, ask people, they're like, hey, does so-and-so fall off towards the mid game or end game? Should I be wasting my resources on getting 60s or not on these characters? Because they do take a lot of resources. Now, I will have a lot more 60s than a lot of other people because I'm really trying to push them. I'm trying to push all the characters I can up to 60 because I want to be able to test them. I want to try different combinations. Like Elson, he is part of my Tulpa team. I will do a video here very shortly, kind of explaining like how I created my Tulpa team and why I'm using him as an elite in it and what he brings to the table. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope those little explanations as to do's or what not to do essentially kind of helps you. I know I've gotten asked a lot of these questions, which is why I wanted to bring them up. I actually had a list going over here. I was kind of looking at because I do get asked a lot of them, especially while I'm streaming. So if you guys would like to come in, hang out while I am streaming and ask your own questions, there's a good chance that at some point in time we may actually have these all listed and go over them later on, especially in a video like right now. But yeah, guys, I hope you have a good rest of your day. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.